You check your super balance on the ATO app through MyGov maybe once a year, usually around August when your fund sends that glossy annual statement. You see a number that looks fine, maybe $60,000 or $70,000, and you think, okay, that is growing. Then you close the app and forget about it for another 12 months. But here is a number that should make you pause. The average Australian will lose over $180,000 from their superannuation over a lifetime just from paying high fees on a default fund, not from bad investment returns, not from market crashes, from fees. And the worst part is that most people never see these fees as a separate line item. They are baked into the percentage-based charges that come out of your account every single month, quietly compounding against you instead of for you. When you are 30, the difference between a super fund charging 0.9% and one charging 1.3% might look tiny. But by the time you turn 67, that small difference has stolen almost $200,000 from your retirement. That is a deposit on a unit in Hobart. That is 4 years of travel. That is the gap between a comfortable retirement and one where you are still worrying about the electricity bill. Part 1. The problem you already recognize is that superannuation feels complicated and slightly boring. You know it is important because your employer is legally required to pay 11.5% of your ordinary time earnings into a fund of your choice. But most people never make a choice. They end up in a default fund, often the one their employer nominated when they started their first job at Coles or a construction site in Sydney. And here is where the structural problem lives. Default funds are not designed to be the best fund for you. They are designed to be the easiest option for employers. Many of these funds charge higher fees because they include things like automatic insurance cover for life insurance and total permanent disability, cover that you may not need if you are young, single, or have cover elsewhere. The Productivity Commission reviewed the super system a few years ago and found that default fund members were paying an extra $38 billion in fees over a decade compared to members in low-cost funds. That is not a personal failure. That is a system that rewards inertia. And the person who pays for that inertia is you, every single day, without ever feeling the pain. Part 2. Here is the reframe that changes everything. Your superannuation is not a savings account. It is a tax-advantaged investment structure that you will spend decades contributing to. The single most powerful lever you have is not which investment option you pick, high growth or balanced. It is the fee percentage you pay. Think about this like a mortgage. If you had a home loan with Westpac charging 6% interest, you would shop around. You would refinance to a lower rate. Super fees work exactly the same way, but backwards because fees are money leaving your account. A 1% fee means that for every $100,000 in your super, you pay $1,000 a year in fees. Over 30 years, that 1% fee eats about 25% of your final balance. Switch to a fund charging 0.5%, and you keep that 25%. That is not a small difference. That is the difference between retiring at 65 versus working until 70. Part 3. The specific Australian mechanism that works in your favour is called MySuper. Every default fund has a MySuper product, which is a simple low-cost option designed for people who do not want to choose investments. But not all MySuper products are equal. Compare Hostplus Indexed Balanced with a fee of 0.59% against an industry default fund like some retail bank products charging 1.5%. On a balance of $50,000, that difference is $455 a year in fees. On $200,000, it is $1,820 a year. You can check your fund's fee structure by logging into your MyGov account, going to the ATO section, and selecting Superannuation. You will see your fund name and a link to its product dashboard. That dashboard legally must show you the fee percentage in a standardized format called the Superannuation Fee Comparison Tool. It takes 3 minutes to find your number. Part 4. Now here are the practical action steps you can take today. First, log into MyGov and go to the ATO online services. Click on Superannuation, then Fund Details. Write down your current fund, your balance, and the insurance cover you have. Second, compare your fund against 3 low-cost alternatives. Industry super funds consistently rank lowest for fees. AustralianSuper's Indexed Diversified option charges 0.48%. Hostplus Indexed Balanced charges 0.59%. Rest. Super's indexed option charges 0.45%. UniSuper's high growth option for university workers charges 0.7% but includes performance that justifies it for some. Third, check your insurance. Many funds automatically enroll you in death and TPD insurance when you start a new job. If you're under 30, have no dependents, and have a separate income protection policy or savings buffer, you may not need this cover. Cancelling it can save you another $500 to $1,000 a year in premiums. Call your fund or do it online. Fourth, initiate a rollover. Once you have chosen a new fund, you can request a transfer through the ATO's online system. The new fund will handle everything. Your employer will be notified automatically if you give them the new fund's details. The whole process takes about 10 minutes of your time and about 10 business days for the money to move. Part 5. Let us contrast 2 people. Meet Jessica in Adelaide. She is 32 years old, earns $85,000 a year, and has a super balance of $70,000. She has never changed funds. She is in a default retail fund charging 1.2% fees plus $300 a year in insurance premiums she does not need. Over the next 35 years, assuming 7% returns before fees, her fund will eat $240,000 in fees and insurance. Her final balance at 67 will be approximately $510,000. Now, meet her colleague Tom. Same age, same salary, same starting balance. Tom switches to AustralianSuper's Indexed Diversified option with 0.48% fees. He cancels the automatic insurance because he has a separate life insurance policy through his super. Actually, he checks and realizes he does not need it yet. He keeps only the minimal cover. Over the same 35 years, Tom pays $48,000 in fees. His final balance is $780,000. That is $270,000 more than Jessica. Tom retires 2 years earlier. Jessica works until 69. Same income, same intelligence, same effort. The only difference is 20 minutes of research and a 10-minute online form. The Australian superannuation system is one of the most powerful wealth-building tools in the world. It is also one of the most exploited by inertia. Every day you stay in a high-fee default fund is a day you choose to pay someone else's mortgage instead of your own retirement. You do not need to become a finance expert. You do not need to pick individual stocks or time the market. You just need to care enough to spend one coffee break looking at your fee percentage. So here is your question. What is the exact percentage fee your current super fund is charging you right now? If you cannot answer that without opening your phone, you've already found the first thing to fix.